Okay, I want to play a little game with you because as we
Please.
started off the top, you are a pizza connoisseur. You've taught me and many others the art of that craft, as well as you
Yeah.
educate many of us in college football with your incredible podcast called The Solid Verbal. Go check that out at a variety of different places, including
Thank you.
their Patreon. It's amazing. Okay, if these schools were pizzas,
Okay.
what pizza would they be? Okay, we got
Okay.
5 schools, we got 5 pizzas, and I know you can go everywhere from a topping standpoint. Okay,
Yeah.
so we are going number 1. Let's go to the Oregon Ducks.
Okay. Oregon is a supreme pizza this year. They're not extra beefy. It's not deep dish or anything like that. They're not built in the way that old Wisconsin was, but there's a lot of different flavor to this team. So we'll call it like a pepperoni and onion and garlic, maybe some spicy honey, maybe some pineapple there for Dylan Gabriel. They are filled with toppings. They are a more is more pizza this year.
I love it. Okay, let's stay in L.A., your backyard.
Yes.
The Trojans coming off a challenging game at Maryland. What kind of pizza are they?
Oh, man. So the Trojans are Chicago Tavern Cut. So it's extra thin, like the cracker crunch. There's a lot of crunch to them with that speed, but the depth isn't there. The beef isn't there. So they're just like the extra thin, crispy, still fun, still a great snack, but it's not super filling right now.
Coming off their first win in the Big Ten era, Deshaun Foster's UCLA Bruins.
Okay, so they're bagel bites. UCLA, it's a nice story. I just want more, right? They're leaving me wanting more. That Ethan Garbers had a great all-purpose performance on the ground, through the air. You called that game. I have great memories of bagel bites, but it's not something I want for dinner right now. So hopefully UCLA can graduate from bagel bite into a bagel pizza, because we all had after school snacks, those bagel pizzas, but the dough isn't fully formed yet for UCLA. So we're relying on something out of the freezer.
Okay, well, I'm heading out to Indiana for
Yes.
Chris Ignetti's squad. They're facing Washington, and this is college football through the lens of the West Coast. So help out our fans in Bloomington. What is UW in your oven?
Oh, Washington. Okay. Something new, inconsistent. I'm going to go with maybe like a Neapolitan pizza.
Okay.
So it's smaller, right? So the line isn't what it was last year. That was sort of the hidden secret of Washington last year. Such a strong offensive line. I don't know if they won the Joe Moore Award or they were up for the Joe Moore Award. Yeah. So a little bit softer up front, but I like where Jonah Coleman is as a running back this year. So I'm going to say it's more of a knife and fork Washington team than a big substantial one in your hand like Neapolitan pizza can be. So I don't know. It's a classic Washington team. It's not the best Washington team. It's not the worst Washington team in the way that Neapolitan is classic. Washington, I'm not a Neapolitan guy myself. I'm more of a New York pizza guy, but it's respectable.
All right. And then finally, a team that played UW earlier in the season. I believe they're going to San Diego State this coming weekend.
Okay.
And they got a shot in our eyes here if they win out with their only loss to Boise State, who may win their league championship and get a bid, as you referenced, into the CFP as a conference champion. Washington State, your final pizza of the day on the menu.
Ooh, Washington State. So, okay, we're talking about a good running team. Not a lot of opposition thus far this year, but a nice win against Washington. This one's tougher to me. So I'm saying quality pizza, but not necessarily top of the top. I'm going to go with a Long Island grandma slice, okay? It's not your thickest, right? It might not be the one that you choose when you see all the slices in front of you, but every time you get it, you're like, oh, I like this square. There's a little bit of crispiness to it. It feels substantial in the hand. It's not that big New York slice. It's not the Detroit slice. It's not the Neapolitan. It's always quality. It's always a nice option. And it's a good story that grandmothers on Long Island created this because they didn't have the hot pizza ovens. So it's sort of something out of nothing. Does that make sense for Washington State? Like, nobody thought that they could perform. The grandmothers on Long Island were like, how are we going to make pizza? And here's Washington State just chugging along, collecting W's.
Collecting W's. Tell you what, you are a great storyteller.
I didn't know we were going to do that. That was pretty good.
That was right off the cuff. I think you should add that to the late night on Saturdays when you guys are a little delirious.
I still